Interlibrary loan, or ILL for short, is the system through which libraries share books, articles, and other resources. This video is a very basic overview to the ILL process. As you work in the library, you will likely become familiar with one or more steps of this process in greater detail. To process interlibrary loans, we use a program called Iliad. If you've ever requested an interlibrary loan before, you may be familiar with Iliad's user interface, which can be found on our library website. However, the work that we do here uses the staff interface, which looks like this. The two main prongs of interlibrary loan are lending and borrowing. These terms can be easy to mix up, but remember that they are describing the process from the point of view of the High Library. Lending items are items that the High Library is lending to other institutions. Borrowing items are items that the High Library does not have and must borrow from elsewhere. The third prong of ILL is document delivery. This is when our users request items that exist in our library. This usually happens when we have a hard copy of an article that someone would like scanned. So this isn't technically interlibrary loan, but it is a convenience that we offer to our users using the same technology that we use for ILL requests. Every ILL request starts when a patron needs an item that is not available in their library and places a request. Their home library sends the request out to potential lenders, other libraries, until it reaches one that has the item and is willing to lend it out. If a lending request comes to us, then we will locate the item, check it out to ILL, notify the borrowing library that it's on its way, and mail it out. Or, if the request is for an article, then we can scan the article and send it to the borrowing library electronically. When our users request items, we become the borrowing library. As the borrowing library, we are responsible for making sure that the borrowed items get to the patrons that requested them. For articles, this all happens automatically. For physical items, we must check the item in from the lending library, which notifies both the lending library and the patron that wanted it that the item has arrived. We label the item and check it out to the user. Once the item is returned, the process begins in reverse. When we are the borrowing library, we have to make sure that any material we borrowed gets returned safely to the lender. When we are the lending library, we have to check the item back in, mark the process as complete, and return the item to our stacks. That's the general process, but there's a few special flavors of ILL requests that I want to quick talk about. Rapid ILLs are article requests that can be processed completely electronically. Instead of scanning items out of our physical holdings, we look for the items online to share. Access PA requests are loan requests made on behalf of public and school libraries within the state of Pennsylvania. There's no real difference between how we process these versus how we process other loan requests, but you might notice some differences in formatting.